Well, so I just go ahead and start. Okay. Well, thank Julie again for your invitation to for me to give a talk on Ghost Island narratives in the 21st century. It's definitely a delight for me to be here, although it's actually 11 p.m. here in New Zealand, but I'll try my best to stay awake. Um, so Today I am planning to make my talk accessible because I know the majority of the audience are your students. So what is Ghost Island and how is what and why do we identify Taiwan as a ghost island? This nickname of Taiwan carries heavy colonial baggage and can be used to elaborate on the political allegory about Taiwan. Taiwan is not unlike a ghost island in the international network, while being excluded from the United Nations and contested by the People's Republic of China. Today, I will provide a survey of Taiwan's ghost island narratives by investigating the history of Taiwan and discussing Taiwan's spectral politics in the name of Ghost Island. To achieve this goal, I will engage with current scholarship on Taiwan's identity as a ghost island. In terms of textual analysis, I will introduce ghost island narrative as a literary genre and further analyze other formats of artistic creation on Ghost Island, including named with sinophone music and detention and devotion in the video gaming world. I argue that the Ghost Island identity of Taiwan helps to reconstruct the translocal consciousness embedded in the contested island nation and beyond. And thanks for those who are here with Julie and me today. I don't know if you have been to Taiwan, which is widely known as Formosa. Before we talk about Taiwan as a ghost island, I would like to remind people of its alternative identity as a beautiful island. According to a logbook entry in 1544, Portuguese sailors spotted Taiwan in the sea and said, Iha Formosa, which means beautiful island. And thanks to its beautiful sceneries and natural resources, the later Han Chinese immigrant settlers gave Taiwan a different name, Treasure Island or Baodao in Mandarin. But sometimes even Taiwanese people forget how beautiful Taiwan is. In 2013, Ling released his first documentary film entitled Beyond Beauty, Taiwan from Above, 看见台湾, which was an overnight sensation in the local community. By means of aerial footage, Ling leads his audience to appreciate the natural beauty of Taiwan and at the same time examine its environmental problems from an eco-critical perspective. Unfortunately, Taiwan is not always beautiful. It has other faces that can be troubling and has problems that can be disheartening. I hope that this and the following slides will be of help to the audience who are now developing a clearer idea about the ghost island trend in contemporary Taiwan. On this matter, I would like to begin with Taiwan as a marginal island. For over 2,000 years, Taiwan has been assigned to the marginal position while being viewed from China across the Taiwan Strait. The earliest written account about Taiwan can be dated back to 230 AD, when Sun Quan, the emperor of the Three Kingdoms, sent an expedition team to explore the island. The expedition team returned with local loot and captives and labeled Taiwan as a barbarian territory unworthy of China's attention. There are some other written accounts regarding China's official contact with Taiwan under dynasties like the Sui dynasty, Yuan dynasty, Ming dynasty, and Qing dynasty. In addition to Chinese settlements, Taiwan was later partially claimed by the Spanish and Dutch imperialists in the 17th century until late Ming Admiral Koxinga or Zheng Chenggong defeated the Dutch and started a short-lived political regime on the island in 1662. The political rule of Taiwan continued to change from Lei Ming to Qing dynasty in 1683, then to Imperial Japan in 1895, and later to the KMT in 1945. Still, the history of Taiwan is not limited to the Chinese civilization only. In recent years, Taiwan has been identified as an important state within the global indigenous network. Scientifically speaking, Taiwan is cast as the originator of the Polynesians. In this regard, indigenous Taiwanese are generically and culturally connected with the Pacific Islanders in the extended Polynesian family. A notable case is that indigenous Taiwanese are believed to be the living ancestors of the Maori people in New Zealand. It is important to consider that Taiwan has long been loaded with a ghost island identity. In the early records of Taiwan, the Qing officials and the foreign travelers used hyperbole to recount the fantastic beasts and monsters in Taiwan and in its neighboring seas, while the local settlers personify or demonize the island's natural disasters such as earthquakes, floods, and mountain accidents with reference to a variety of legends and parables. Taiwan was not yet called a ghost island at the time. The term ghost island is actually borrowed from Onigashima in the Japanese folklore, Momotaro, also known as Peach Boy. During the occupation period, the early Japanese settlers regarded Taiwan as a ghost island, as recorded in Takekoshi Musaburo's book entitled Japanese Rule in Formosa. Taiwan was identified as a ghost island due to its severe pandemic or epidemic problems like malaria and cholera. This special or spectral label on Taiwan directly speaks to the political divide between the colonizers and the colonized in the symbolic light. In post-war Taiwan, the ghost island has continued to function as a thought-provoking identity of the contested island nation. As a nickname of Taiwan, the term ghost island reemerged as a social media bomb in 2009. It all started with a series of provoking articles written by an online blogger, Lan Qing, who turned out to be a pen name used by Guo Guanyin, who was a Taiwanese official based in Toronto when the news spread. Guo Guanyin's political agenda is critical clear because his pen name Fan Nanqing sounds like close to Pen Blue in Mandarin. And Pen Blue Coalition is a political union of several political parties, including the KMT. And the term Pen Blue comes from the political party color of the KMT. As a matter of fact, Guo Guanyin's use of the term ghost island first appears in Unitas magazine, 银河文学 in 2002, but he did not attract so much attention back then. As Taipei Times reports, Guo Guanyin expressed his pride as one of the high-class mainlanders and refers to local Taiwanese people as Taibazi, Taiwanese rednecks, and Woko, Japanese pirates. Guo Guanyin even glorified the notorious martial law implemented after the February 28 incident, confronting heated local consciousness. Guo Guanyin eventually lost his post as a civil servant because of his misconduct and racist defamatory words about Taiwan and the Taiwanese people. Since 2009, the term ghost island has widely been used in internet blogs, major media, and contemporary music. In response to the marginality of Taiwan, Ghost Island still carries this negative connotation and functions as a self-depreciating or self-deriding expression from the nativist perspective of Taiwan. So I argue that in post-war Taiwan, the Ghost Island has continued to function as a thought-provoking identity of the contested island nation due to its negative connotations. The Ghost Island sounds like a taboo phrase to be used on Taiwan in the public discourse and social media. Intriguingly, the Ghost Island identity has been widely adopted by Taiwanese writers, celebrities, and netizens to reflect the self-doubt and the self-mockery of the islanders under the circumstance that Taiwan is comparable to an invisible ghost country not officially recognized by the United Nations. Given its colonial background, the Ghost Island narrative has emerged as a notable topic in Taiwan literature and film in response to the social political anxieties towards the ghostly past and present of the island state. In other words, the Ghost Island narrative translates to Taiwan's history of trauma and the depressing political realities at the same time. Now, I would like to move on to the historical and theoretical framework of the Ghost Island narrative. I started using the phrases like Ghost Island literature and Ghost Island narrative in my first book, Supernatural Sign from Taiwan and Beyond, which was published in 2016. Back then, there was a very limited discussion on Taiwan as Ghost Island in the academic arena. In the book, I focus on Ghost Island as an evolving concept and practice over time. In response to Taiwan's history of pain, Ghost Island literature is heavy with brutal death and haunting ghosts. I would like to emphasize that Ghost Island literature is not a subcategory under the traditional Chinese zhiguai genre. There is indeed a profound linguistic and cultural link between mainland China and Taiwan. But Taiwan has a unique historical timeline and a special narrative of the strange in a cross-cultural light. It is why my research on Ghost Island literature goes beyond zhiguai or strange fiction and takes into account the ghostly and the ghost-like subjects through the lens of magical nativism, 幻象图主义, and the magical translocalism, 幻化地主义. In my view, Ghost Island literature leads readers to rethink and re-examine the haunting experiences in the multilingual and multi-ethnic contexts of Taiwan. Taiwanese fiction is based on Mandarin, but in combination with local dialects like Taiwanese Hokkien, Hakka, and Austronesian languages. It seems to be a necessity for Taiwanese subjects across ethnicities to cope with the Chinese heritage and the post-colonial experience in the contemporary era. In this case, ethnic haunting plays a pivotal role in underscoring the cultural diversity of the Ghost Island, and the readers can observe the shift from Chinese diasporic ambivalence to native concerns and indigenous voices in Taiwan literature and film. In 2004, Li Ang published her novel Visible Ghosts, which engenders a spectralized national discourse. Li Ang encourages her readers to rethink such issues of female agency, ethnic consciousness, and cross-strait politics. Undoubtedly, this novel plays an essential role in shaping the course of Ghost Island literature beyond the Chinese zhiguai genre. To be more specific, Li Ang's female ghost figures are not passive or sexual objects under the male gaze. They function as aggressive and free-floating agents in confrontation with the male-dominated system. Liang's gender discourse is uh, connected with his political agenda. So that's why in the preface of the novel, Liang provides her observation of Taiwan as a ghost island. Quote, such a ghost island, which refers to Taiwan, is borderless and not a country, and its voices are outside the center of the grand national body and can be taken as extraterritorial ghost thoughts and indiscernible ghost sounds, end quote. Beyond clearly expresses her deep concerns regarding the current political conflicts inside and outside the Taiwanese territory. While mainland China has become the superpower with dominant status on the globe, Taiwan, despite its economic development and democratic progress, is not unlike an isolated island in terms of international politics. Therefore, the visible ghost demonstrates a spectralized national allegory. Just as ghosts are the undesirable outcasts of the human world, Taiwan as a ghost island straddles visibility and invisibility, presence and absence in the international network. By making the invisible subject visible, Liang rewrites the historical past and provides a political fable of the ghost island. In Taiwan literature, ghost haunting has long been an important theme, impossible for us to bypass. When it comes to the experience of Chinese diaspora, the ghostly return can be associated with the calling from the past and the emotional longing for faraway homeland, which is China. In the past few decades, the nativist or native soil movement has been shaping ghost island literature vis-a-vis historical trauma and personal mourning with a focus on the local community. Entering the 21st century, we can observe a greater ambition for Taiwanese writers to produce and reproduce ghost island narratives in the translocal light. While China appears to be an outdated source of nostalgia, Japan has become an entity of cultural significance in Taiwan literature. Dan Yaoming's novel Killing Ghosts, 杀鬼, can be a good case in point. The Taiwanese novel Ghost Town, 鬼地方, written by Kevin Chen, further pushes the boundaries of ghost island literature by mixing voices of the living and the dead and straddling a small town in central Taiwan and Berlin, Germany. It is a great literary work speaking to the ghost island tradition. Due to the time limit, I have to move on to other forms of ghost island narrative. To this date, we have not seen enough research done on ghost island narrative in Taiwan. Taiwanese writer and researcher He Jingyao has been promoting a critical discourse on Monster Taiwan, 妖怪 Taiwan, since 2017. It is certainly a research compatible with the ghost island discourse. However, He Jingyao's approach and mine are different in terms of methodology. While He Jingyao is trying to build a unique discourse of monstrosity for Taiwan with a focus on mythology and legends from the past, I am exploring the new dimensions and forms of the ghost island narrative in Taiwan in relation to Taiwan's historical pain and social political realities in the contemporary era. In the past 2 years, the ghost island discourse has been adopted by researchers in the fields of social and political sciences and public health. It is really helpful to see how scholars have been trying to elaborate the ghost island phenomena beyond the literary circles. According to Li Yaotai and Song Yunya, quote, Ghost Island ambiguously signals netizen frustration with a meager chance of upward social economic mobility. At the same time, netizens resisted the ghost island stigma but claim pride in the key tenets of diversity, freedom, and democracy. They create, modify, reproduce, and negotiate the meanings of the ghost island during online interactions. The ambiguous and conflicting presentations of ghost island make it emblematic of an emergent form of affective identification and bounding through which alternative desires of Taiwan's future are articulated and enacted. In quote. As discussed earlier, the term Ghost Island is originally a negative tag given to Taiwan by the Japanese colonizers and the so-called high-class mainlanders on the island. It is significant for the marginalized Taiwanese subjects to first observe and then deconstruct the power imbalance embedded in such degrading political rhetoric. It is true that a great number of Taiwanese people share the critical view of Taiwan, which is notorious for its ideological divides, political contentions, and the low salaries in the local community. The concept of Ghost Island, in this sense, echoes the ongoing criticism of domestic and international politics in Taiwan. Yet, people also learn to adapt and rediscover the bright side of the Ghost Island. Maybe it is not as bad as people thought. It is the reason that the term Ghost Island has been rethought and revamped in creative ways to retrieve the treasure island identity of Taiwan in the 21st century. Here we have another example where Jason Ying is examining the status of Taiwan in the international community. He immediately recognizes its Ghost Island identity. Quote, yet under the One China framework permitting only one China to exist, Taiwan is left in a precarious position in international politics as a ghost island. Coined in 2009 by New Power Party member Gu Guanyi, the term laments Taiwan's existence on the periphery of nations as it struggles to become a recognized country, end quote. Ying points out Taiwan's struggle in making itself heard by foreign countries and in participating in transnational and international networks. Given the pandemic situation, Taiwan needs to travel extra miles and promote itself as a successful model in containing the COVID-19 outbreak. The ultimate goal is to enhance the visibility and agency of the Ghost Island and to initiate the conversation or create opportunities for Taiwan to be included in the World Health Organization and even the United Nations. To contextualize the Ghost Island narrative, I would like to show you several minor examples. I don't know if you have heard of Taiwan Bar. It is an independently founded website. Since 2014, Taiwan Bar has been making unpacked animated YouTube videos to introduce and promote various aspects of Taiwan, including history, philosophy, law, local culture, education, and economics. The first episode of the animated Taiwanese history made by Taiwan Bar revolves around Taiwan's modernization. Intriguingly, the Chinese title of the video can be literally translated as the modernization of the Ghost Island, which is a critical term imposed on Taiwan by Japanese colonizers, as we discussed earlier. The Chinese title of the video made by Taiwan Bar clearly responds to the popular trend of identifying Taiwan as a ghost island in our time. In 2016, director Lin Taizhou released a short documentary film entitled The Ghost Island Lies Beneath, 看不见的鬼岛. Unlike Qi Bolin, the director of Beyond Beauty, Taiwan from Above, Lin Taizhou is keen to direct his audience attention to the environmental pollution in Yunlin County of Taiwan and expose the lies made by the local government. At this point, the phrase "Ghost Island" is used to tackle the pressing eco-critical problems unknown to the public by making the invisible environmental problems visible to the public. Lin Taizhou instills a clear political agenda in the Ghost Island narrative of Taiwan. Another notable case is the founding of Trending Taiwan, which is a YouTube channel launched back in 2015. Unlike the independent sources mentioned earlier, Trending Taiwan is actually a project funded and managed by Taiwan's Ministry of Foreign Affairs to showcase the astonishing natural scenes and distinctive cultural features of the island. It is important to consider that Trending Taiwan has made a series of short videos on Ghost Island to promote Taiwan. In this light, Trending Taiwan creates an interesting pattern to reverse people's misconception or misunderstanding of Taiwan as a backward and superstitious society. While ghosting the island in each video, Trending Taiwan always creates a twist to focus on a specific positive side of Taiwan in the end. It can be really scary if you only watch the first half of the video. Each video gives you goosebumps and then makes you laugh. Following the negative statement, Taiwan is really horrible, a punchline would be added to turn the table around. For example, Taiwan is really horrible, horribly delicious when it comes to the signature street foods on the island, especially the legendary stinky tofu. If you're interested, you can go to and visit Trending Taiwan YouTube channel to check out the Ghost Island videos itself. The endeavor made by Trending Taiwan proves that Ghost in Taiwan has become an officially approved campaign to promote Taiwan in a fun way. In addition to the local takes on Taiwan's Ghost Island identity, it will be intriguing if one reviews the signable music produced by Malaysian rapper-songwriter Nam Wee Huang Mingzhi. Nam Wee first came to Taiwan for tertiary education and then started pursuing his dream to become a pop music artist on the Ghost Island. Over the years, Nam Wee has earned a reputation as one of the most culturally diverse musicians in Taiwan. His musical kingdom is based on Taiwan in dialogue with other cultures and countries, such as the Chinese North or Beijing, the Chinese South, Hainan Island and Hong Kong, Japan, Vietnam, Thailand, and his home country, Malaysia. I argue that Nam Wee's music carries the true signable spirit and beyond. To quote 书美时, or 是书美, the Sinophone is a place-based local culture in dialogue with other cultures of the location. This critical view is connected with the unique translocality in each Chinese-speaking community and is thus separated from the one-dimensional Chinese-centered discourse. That said, the Sinophone has been widely adopted as an anti-hegemonic agenda and a symbolic departure from the China-centric narrative. Taiwan, Hong Kong, Mongolia, Xinjiang, and Tibet, and the Nanyang and other diasporas can all be included in the discussion of the Sinophone world. Through his international vision and multilingual practice, Nam Wee expands the scope of Sinophone music. More importantly, Nam Wee's latest album is entitled Position, which is the compound word of ghost and musician. In this sense, the album corresponds with the transcultural Ghost Island identity of Taiwan. In 2019, Nam Wee released a single named Ghost Island, which also features Waki, a rare local rapper who earned international recognition from Time Magazine, CNN, The Times, and even Dalai Lama. Can you believe that? Nam Wee begins the song with his chanting of Naluan, which means welcome, for we are all in the same family in Taiwanese Ami language. Ami is one of the officially recognized indigenous tribes in Taiwan. So together, Nam Wei and Duaki provide a very critical view of Taiwan as a controversial ghost island state of democracy, in which there's no limit to human rights and freedom. Now, I would like to show you a clip of Nam Wei's rap song, Ghost Island. Some of you may enjoy the song, while the others disgusted by it. That's part of the talk today.
2300万，岛上有人讲闽南，有人拿鲁湾在山上，国语和文字都来自对岸，但是那个腔，女生讲话嗲嗲软软，哎呦，听了很母汤。每个周末都有抗议游行，那叫没纪律。网络上言论都没监控，根本精神有问题。同性恋都能结婚，变性人都能出专辑，满口脏话的、非法持枪的都可以变明星。这就是轨道，乱七八糟的轨道，杀人可教化，警察被打，媒体上场领导，选政府竟然有投票，不爽他还可以换掉。我会像地理频道，有吞球的也有黑道。Welcome to 轨道，太平洋上的小岛，这里的民主人权根本大逆不道，这里的言论自由根本亵渎领导。
Okay, so that's the end of the clip. Well, I hope you enjoyed the clip. So on the ghost island called Taiwan, same-sex marriage is legalized. Political leaders, presidents can be criticized on traditional and social media. There's no censorship on the internet. People are allowed to express their ideas freely and organize protests and march through streets. Ironically, Taiwan is described as an out-of-order place with no discipline in the song. According to Taiwanese scholar Hong Ruyu, quote, Taiwanese islanders start to worship the totalitarian regime of other states and want to give up freedom because they are too free. They are so free that they want to be unfree. The sarcasm of the song indeed reveals a profound amnesia of the society. Being free to be unfree is one of the symptoms of forgetting, end quote. Hong Rui's statement is certainly thought-provoking in highlighting certain Taiwanese people's forgetfulness about the bloody and violent past and the hard-earned democracy in response to the power dynamic between opposing political views and the cultural beliefs in Taiwan. It is true that Ghost Island has become a popular but critical name of Taiwan because of different social political issues observed in the local community. Still, it could be problematic, if not misleading, to say that it is common sense for Taiwanese people to give up their freedom and embrace totalitarianism. What Nam Wei and Duaki achieve through the song is a sophisticated remark of backhanded compliment. On the surface, the excessive freedom of Taiwan is harshly criticized. However, if one takes a close look at Taiwan in comparison with such Sinophone communities as Hong Kong, Xinjiang, and Tibet, Taiwan turns out to be a ghost country worthy of recognition and praise. As the Ami greeting expression Naruwan suggests, the ghost island points to a cross-cultural community of diversity and inclusion, although it is ideologically challenged and contested from within and without. Additionally, Nam Wei's recent song Fragile, Bo Xing, featuring Australian singer Kimberly Chen, represents his latest musical endeavor as a musician. This pop song appears to narrate the entangled and heartbreaking relationship between lovers. However, the lyrics of the song are loaded with politically suggestive messages, while its music video lashes the so-called Little Pinks into frenzy on purpose. The Little Pinks, or Xiaofenhong in Mandarin, refer to, quote, China's volunteer army of angry digital warriors who have formed a core element in China's cyber nationalism and who are highly sensitive to any criticism of this country's leader, Xi Jinping. End quote. Although Nam Wei claims that he has no intention to support the independence of Hong Kong and Taiwan through his controversial music, he never regrets his decision to release the song, which makes him now a banished and censored cultural icon in the Chinese cyberspace. His Nam Wei reconfirms his Gaussian identity against the overpowering Chinese state across the Taiwan Strait. His music profoundly echoes and stretches the Gaussian narrative in a silent light. Finally, I would like to highlight the Gaussian narrative in the form of video gaming in the contemporary time. It is crucial to note that the earlier production of Chinese-bound video games in Taiwan represent a collective emotional link with the Chinese cultural heritage in the 1990s. Detention and Devotion were developed by locally owned and operated company Red Candle Games in 2017 and 2019 respectively. These two games are different from their forerunners from decades ago because they are known to players and critics for their close engagement with Taiwan's history and culture. Red Candle's game's vision and ambition have successfully added diversity to the video game industry of the local community. Undoubtedly, Red Candle Games' debut work, Detention, has become the most successful IP or intellectual property in the video game history of Taiwan. Released in 2017, Detention has been adapted into a feature film with the same title in 2019 and a TV series in 2020, respectively. The film version of Detention was nominated by the Golden Horse Awards in 12 categories and received 5 awards in the end. Outside of Taiwan, the worldwide attention received by these two games is also unprecedented. In addition to the enthusiastic support from gamers around the world, Detention and Devotion are the first two video games added to the Chinese collection of the prestigious Harvard Yanjing Library. I would like to emphasize the digital representation of the paranormal in Detention and Devotion and their connection with ideologically constructed realities. Specifically, these two video games can be further examined in light of historical horror and gaming politics as an extended discussion on the Gaussian narrative. While carrying historical weight, both Detention and Devotion rely heavily on psychological horror rather than blood and gores. Under the developers' careful design, these two games win over gamers through an unusual emerging experience with horror as the contemporary historical narratives of post-war Taiwan are being contested and rewritten. Detention has attracted a large gamership and received very positive reviews far and wide. Set in the 1960s, the game unfolds from a local perspective and step-by-step reveals the plight of Taiwanese subjects under the rule of the KMT government in the martial law period. It can be argued that the success of Detention in the local community lies in its link with the current politics of the island state. While ghosting the White Terror period, Detention presents an extended critique of the KMT in the past and the KMT of our time. Following the success of Detention, Devotion, Huan Yuan, was released to positive reviews in February 2019. Yet in just 2 days, the video game was accused to feature a Taoist charm that intentionally mocks Chinese President Xi Jinping. It is discovered that the charm combines two written parts. First, if you can take a close look at the charm on screen, the first part is the Xi Jinping, we need a poo in Chinese cursive writing. And the second part is Nima Ba Qi in Chinese, which sounds like a Limbu Beiji, or your mom is an idiot in Taiwanese dialect. The cultural meme that features Xi Jinping and Winnie the Pooh went viral in Chinese social media back in 2013. But this comical parallel has been censored by the Chinese government for years, probably because Winnie the Pooh is self-described as a bear or very little brain. Due to the Chinese gamers' boycott, Devotion was pulled from Steam, the international online video game distribution platform. In response, Red Candle Games issued an official apology on Facebook, saying that the charm was a mistaken artistic design and that the team has removed it from the latest update of the game. However, this unclear response was far from satisfying to Chinese netizens, because Devotion's political agenda is also suggested by its inclusion of thought-provoking news headlines such as Baozi sentenced for 3 years or above in prison or death penalty, and school child assaulted, Baozi arrested, the suspect self-identified as lolicon. These fictional news headlines have undoubtedly intensified the political issue encountered by Red Candle Games. In the Chinese social network, Xi Jinping is nicknamed as Baozi, which means steam buns. But this nickname has been censored, like the meme on Xi Jinping, the Pooh Bear. Moreover, the photo of Baozi in the game looks just like the young version of Xi Jinping. He just photoshopped a portrait photo and turned it into an image we find in the newspaper. So this move further makes apparent the mockery of the highest political leader of China and the Chinese Communist Party he represents. While reviewing detention and devotion, one may find gaming politics an essential topic in addition to historical horror. On the Red Candle Games design, detention and devotion are socially and politically engaging in dialogue with the current trends of popular culture. To local gamers' excitement, detention and devotion by Red Candle Games have not only earned immediate recognition from the local community, but also brought Taiwan into a limelight in the entire gaming world. Red Candle Games really goes beyond gamers' expectations by exploring themes of the institutionalized horror, ghost hunting, parent-child relations, and pursuit of freedom. These two games were designed with consideration of the continuing social political issues in Taiwan. In this way, they reflect the particular troubling times and spaces experienced by diverse age groups. It is through the blended structure of video gaming that the local history and politics can be assessed and rethought within the framework of Ghost Island discourse. Importantly, the success of Red Candle Games, despite the controversies it has also sparked, expands the horizons of the video gaming industry in Taiwan and helps to form a collective Taiwanese consciousness in the present time. As detention and devotion feature the unique character of Taiwan in face of the challenges from within and across the Taiwan Strait, Red Candle Games testifies the trajectory of Taiwan's historical horror with respect to gaming politics. To conclude, Ghost Island Narrative is an ongoing project that builds link with various artistic forms and political agendas. What I'm trying to do here is to initiate a scholarly dialogue with my fellow researchers and further expand the Ghost Island discourse. Hopefully, Taiwan will be able to move on from its Ghost Island position and retrieve its identity as a treasure island in connection with the outside world. Thank you. I think they